welcome to the Polettirosa Homestead. Well, today I've been getting cucumbers after cucumbers after cucumbers. It's the small gherkins, the Boston picklers, and I've got some beautiful red bell peppers and some onions. So I figured let's go make some relish. So let's get going and let's make some sweet relish today. Okay, first we're going to start off with, you need about 15 of the small gherkin Boston pickler cucumbers. You need about 7 cups of it, so I would say that's roughly about 15 cucumbers, excuse me. And you're going to need about 2 cups of onions and 1 cup of red peppers. There's more ingredients, but what you want to do is you want to start off with these. What I'll do is I'll link a description down below in the description box, and I'll give you all of the ingredients you're going to need. But let's start out with just these 3. And the reason being is you got to cut these up really good. Finely chop them up. And then you got to put them in water for 2 hours. So I figured let's start with the cucumbers, the peppers, and the onions. So what I did is I got my cucumbers and I took off the ends. Then what you're going to do is you're going to slice them in half. And I'm just doing this to make things easy. You can chop them up yourself, but I have one of these choppers from Walmart and it makes it so much easier. So just put it in and close it. I've already done some, and it's a little full. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all these cucumbers. I'm going to put them through the chopper, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go inside my house and I'm going to put it into an actual chopper to chop them up really good. That will make it easier. If you want to, you can chop them all up yourself. Finally chop them. That takes too long for me. And this chopper works just so well. Like I said, you just cut it in half. Pop it down. If you do have a bigger one, then all you do is cut it in half and then go through the middle. Okie doke. So I'll be back as soon as I get done with the cucumbers. Okay, so I just got done cutting up the cucumbers, and as you can see, there are 7 cups right there. I went and I got an immersion blender from my husband, for Christmas. So it works just outrageous. That's just perfect. So you want to take this, then you want to cut up your peppers. So let's get into cutting up some peppers. And I'm going to do it basically the same way. I'm going to be using my little chopper. Then I'm going to go inside and I'm going to use my immersion blender and get it cut up really good. And like I said, I'm looking for 1 cup of red peppers. So get the insides cut out, and if you are a gardener, save your seeds. Oh, I'm out here right next to all of my herbs. It's making my nose go absolutely crazy. And take out as much of the inside as you can. Try to take out all your seeds. And then what I do is I just cut up a couple strips. I always take out that white inside. So basically that's it, and I'll get back to you in just a few. Okay, so I did slice up my peppers into strips. Now, one question while I am chopping these up, does everybody know how to do a seed test to make sure that your seeds are viable? basically what you do is you take a glass of water, you put all your seeds in them, let them sit for 15 minutes, and if the seeds float, they are not viable. They will not grow. So as long as they sink to the bottom, they'll be great. Okay, so let's go take those peppers. If any of them are too long, just chop them in half. And you're looking for a cup of red peppers. And that's all there is to it, okay? So I'll be back when I show you, after I get done with all the peppers, and I show you what they look like in with the cucumbers. Okay, be back shortly. Okay, I'm back again. Here is my 1 cup of red pepper. Now just take the pepper and put it right into the bowl that's got your cucumbers. Now the next part, and what I'm going to do is I'm taking a towel I brought outside because I've got so many flies all of a sudden. Take your towel and cover your, if you're outside of course, and just cover your bowl up. Now, I thought because I just got done saying it but I didn't show you, I wanted to show you how you see if your seeds are viable. I have some seeds right here that came off right away. One thing is pepper seeds do get dry very quickly, so that's a good thing. You don't have to wait too long. So here's a little piece and it's got a bunch of seeds on it. And you just drag it right off. Pretty simple and easy. It's not like tomatoes. Tomatoes are really hard. And there's a lot of pepper seeds on this one here. And I've got a lot more on this whole thing. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some right in. Okay, scoop them up. I'm going to scoop them up with my knife, and I'm just going to throw them right there in the water. Now, if you see, some go right down to the bottom. But you got to give them time to go to the bottom. And there are some floating up on the top. And I'm just going to keep on dragging off some of these. This way I get this out of the way. And then what I do with all my pieces that I cut off, the cucumber pieces, this, is I throw them in my garden. That's a great compost. And I'm sorry if I'm sniffling today. Again, like I said, I'm right here next to all the herbs, and boy, I could smell that basil, and oh, it just smells so good, the rosemary. But basil is strong today. Probably. And the flies are strong too. I love being out here. Problem is you got your flies. There are a lot of seeds in this one. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that before you put them away, they are totally 100% dried out. And I don't mean putting them in a dehydrator. I mean they are dried out. Okay, I got all the seeds off of this. Throw it in my compost pile. Get this in the water and let it sit for, like I said, 10-15 minutes. If it goes a little bit longer, that's not a big deal. I always tend to drop seeds. There's a lot that's not going down right now, but there's a lot on the bottom. Okay, I just stir it up a little bit, give it time, and just put it off to the side. Now comes the big part. I always hate the onions because I tend to tear very easy. And you're looking for 2 cups of onions. Now what I'm going to do first is I'm going to get my mixture. And as you can see, I got the cucumbers and I've got the red tomato. I got a big spoon here and I'm just going to mix it up a little bit. Looks like Christmas. See, green and red. And I'm going to cover it up again and just put it right on next to me here. And now comes onions. Now, if I can make a suggestion to anybody, I just bought these, so if you have onions, this one's pretty good, that you see the bottom, those are roots, okay? If you cut this off, like you normally do, take off just a little bit of paper around it. You can then put this in a glass of water, okay? You will see these roots grow. And in no time, out of the middle, you'll see this green stem come up, plant it in the garden. There, you got an onion. What I usually do is, but I'm not going to this time because I have quite a bit, is all these pieces that I'm taking off and the paper, I usually save it and put it in my freezer. And when I make soups, I'll throw all these, the paper, the onion, all these scraps will go right into the water to make my soup. So I'm just going to cut this onion so that I can get it into the chopper. And by taking it off in smaller pieces, all the paper blows all over the place. Excuse me one second. Okay, I'm back again. Take off your paper. And all I did was I got a little bowl here. Now, like I said, you're looking for 2 cups of onions. So how's everybody's day going? Yesterday I went and dehydrated. In fact, I have it going in right now. I dehydrated a bunch of herbs. And I did, for the first time, I planted pineapple sage. So I thought today I'm going to mention out to everybody out there, have you ever planted pineapple sage? And if so, what did you use it for? The only thing I thought about was like ham. But I was just wondering, what are some other ways that you may use pineapple sage? If you can, leave a comment in the section below, because I'd love to hear how everybody would use pineapple sage. I also got growing outside wild raspberries. So I went to an app that I have on my phone called Plantscape. And Plantscape, you take a picture of a plant, flower, leaf, and then you hit search, and Plantscape tells you what that plant is. Well, I knew it was raspberries because there's raspberries growing on it, so pretty easy to determine that that's a raspberry bush. But I wanted to see if it was edible or not. because I've read that not all wild raspberries are edible to eat. And I found out these were, and I found out the leaves that it produces is also good for making teas, raspberry teas. So I went and got a whole bunch of those. And right now I am dehydrating raspberries and the leaves. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the raspberries and the tea together. And this way, if I ever decide to make a raspberry tea, I will turn around and use both the dehydrated raspberries and the leaves. I don't like that piece. I do have onions growing this year, but none of them are quite ready yet. They're almost there. I think I'm only at around 1 cup, so I wanted to see how many onions would make for 2 cups. Okay, I will be back after I cut these up, get my 2 cups and go inside and use my immersion blender and then bring them back out, and I'll show you what they look like, and then we'll get them in, and then we'll start on some of the other good stuff. Be right back. Okay, I'm back again. Here, 2 onions made 2 cups. It's absolutely perfect. I'll put that in, but first I wanted to show you the seeds. As you can see by there, there's seeds around the top. They did not go down, but look at all the ones on the bottom. So all the seeds up on top, you just want to take them out because they're not going to be any good. Don't use a big glass because it's so much easier the way I'm doing it here. Just using your finger and going in and grabbing them. So much easier. And then all the seeds on the bottom, what you want to do is you want to take them out. You want to put them in a dish or something that's larger, because you want to try to get them dried out. And they're not going to dry out if they're on top of each other. And then what you want to do is there's some places that turn around and tell you and put them in little plastic baggies. Do not do that, because you don't want, the plastic will get moisture in it. So what you want to do is you want to get an envelope. And what I usually do is I usually cut an envelope in half, and then I tape the one side, and I write on the front what I have in there and the date that I got it, or that I put them in there. And then that's my seeds for next year. And on the bottom I have like a little green piece. Okay, so got my onions right now. Let's put them in this mixture. And then I'll go over with you the other ingredients you're going to need. But what you want to do is, at least for a half hour, you want to let all this get combined, because you want the juices, the flavors from these to really like attract to each other. So what you want to do is you want to let it, after you mix it up real good, is you want to turn around and let it sit for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, something like that. Look at how beautiful that is. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this inside and I'm going to let it sit for about 30 minutes. Maybe 40, something like that, whatever. Then what you need on top of this, the next is you're going to need a quarter of a cup of either a pickling salt or a kosher salt. You're going to need 2 cups of white vinegar, 3 cups of sugar, a half a tablespoon of celery seeds, a half a tablespoon of mustard seeds, and a half a teaspoon of turmeric. Okie doke. So I'll see you in a few. Bye-bye. Okay, so welcome back. It's been sitting there for a little while. Let's go start adding in our other ingredients. So the first thing you're going to need is 3 cups of sugar. So, and like I said, I will post down below all the ingredients that you need. What I like to do is when I add it in, after I add in an ingredient, boy, am I not doing too well today. I just like to stir it up. That way I know it's getting really nice and stirred up. Blended. Okay, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to add in your quarter cup of either a pickling salt or kosher salt. And you're going to want 2 cups of white vinegar. Okay, then you're going to start with your seeds. So the first thing you're going to get is you're going to get a half of a tablespoon of celery. Oh, that really didn't fill it up enough. Okay. You're going to want a half of the tablespoon of mustard seeds. And you want a half of a teaspoon of turmeric. And then you want to mix that up real well, okay? So I will be back in just a few minutes, right after I get done stirring this all up. Okie doke, be right back. Okay, so I've stirred it up really good. And now the next thing you want is you're going to want a nice pot. You want to make sure that everything you just did fits into that pot. And the easy. Basically, you want to heat this up really good, bringing it to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, let it simmer for about 10 minutes, and then put it into your jars. And that's it, you're all done. I will be back when it comes time for putting them in the jars. Okay, we're back again. Well, it ended up being where the relish was a bit watery. So what I did is I just took off some of the water, which was no big deal. This is what it ended up being like. I just drained the water out of it, the liquid. So I got 9 of the jelly jars. So you fill up your jars, and then you always want to clean them, clean the rims. So you take some white vinegar and go around the edges, making sure you get it nice and clean. Put the top on and finger tight. That's it. And they're going to be water bathed, which means that it's not in a pressure cooker, okay? It just needs to be in a pot of boiling water. I do have a water bath canner here. If you don't have a water bath canner, you can use a regular pot, but jars cannot sit on the bottom of the pot. So most water bath canners have either a rack in them or something else. I am using my pressure canner rack, which that's what it looks like, and it sits on the bottom of my water bath canner. And then I put the jars on top. And again, making sure that they're nice and clean and finger tight. And when you're done with that, all you do is you let it boil. A nice hard boil for 10 minutes. Now, because my elevation is above 1,000, which means I'm over 1,000 above sea level, I add an extra 5 minutes on mine. So I will be 15 minutes. And that's all there is. There, I've got homemade canned sweet relish. I hope you enjoyed the video. And please don't forget, if you haven't subscribed yet, to please subscribe to my channel, giving me a thumbs up. And leave a comment. Like I said, I'd love to hear how you would use pineapple sage. Again, thank you for visiting the Polettirosa Homestead, and I hope to see you again. Bye-bye, everybody.